All right, guys, I'm going to show you how you can create this multi rooster in Illustrator. So there's many ways to do this. You can use your brush tool. You can use many other tools within Illustrator. I'm going to show you one of the ways and one of my favorite ways that I like to create this type of artwork. So I'm going to use my favorite tool, pen tool. Now I'm going to make it let's see if I can put a red color. Doesn't matter what color it is, just red so you guys can see it. So what I like to do is I like to trace and create a silhouette first of the rooster, and then I go in there and start adding detail. So let's do this, and let's trace it, and I'm just using the basic pen tool, and then I'm going to show you some of the details. So I'm going to move a little bit quicker here so you guys can see. So basically, I'm just click and drag. If you're not familiar with the pen tool, you click and you drag those anchors. And if you notice that you can create this. So here we go. I'm going to go a little bit faster so that way we can move a little bit faster on how I was able to create this. So here we go. All right, guys, I think I'm done creating the silhouette. So basically, once you have the silhouette, this is basically what you have. So you have this kind of interesting outline, and this is what I use as my outline for my drawing. And then from here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep this. So remember, this is going to be black. It's going to be black or whatever color my outline is going to be. And then I'm going to fill in the areas inside of the rooster. Now, if you notice, I created some lines here and some details of my drawing, and I'm going to ignore those because I want to apply different effects to it. So let's get to it. This is going to be a pretty lengthy process. So this is what I like to do is kind of use this process on similar to a comic book, not a comic book, but a coloring book. So you see your outline, nice thick outline. That's going to be your outline. Then this area inside of it is going to be white. So let me start doing the short so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So remember, we have this outline that is a fill, and I just do an outline so I can see underneath. And I'm going to do the shorts, and I'm going to create all the effects without having to create brushes or anything like that. So I'm going to grab my pen tool, and I'm just going to click and drag. And the reason why I like this method is because it allows me, just for me, just like my preference. I've been using this technique for years, and allows me to control if I want to add like nice little highlights or the tones of my surface as well. It's nice and clean. And if you notice here, I can create the effect or clean up my artwork as I go. I can just kind of create nice clean lines, and it's pretty effective at the end. So if you notice, I created this whole negative space here. So I can always go back, grab my direct selection tool, and clean up some of this imperfection. If you want to do that, I kind of like a little imperfection. So Shift X to switch it to solid. And let's say, for example, I want to add a nice kind of like nice kind of burgundy color there. So if you notice here, I know right now I just have one single shape, but it's not gonna look right. But if you hit Shift X, you're gonna notice how nice and crisp that line looks. So Shift X, let's continue adding the other elements here. So I'm gonna come here, grab my pen tool, click. I'm not gonna say click, click and drags. You guys know more or less how to use the pen tool. I wanna make sure my lines are nice and can grab my handle. Holding the Option or Alt key allows me to control that little handle there. Allows me for me to clean up that handle there. Come here. Click and drag. I have a little bit negative space here. I think I can. It just depends if I want that to be a different color. I'm gonna close it over here. So I want it to be a different color. And I'm just gonna continue here just so it could be a different piece. Option or Alt, click and grab the handle so it can be a nice clean handle. Again, Shift or Option, click and drag. You see how you can control the handle on its own. Click, click and drag, click and drag. There we go. I'm gonna hit the letter I for the eyedropper. Select the color, keep the consistent of the color. Now these pieces, maybe it could be, this could be maybe some gray tones. I don't know. I'm gonna see what kind of color I want to be on the top. I'm gonna grab my pen tool. I'm gonna grab this guy, click and drag as well. Now you notice here that I cannot see my drawing, but if you hit Shift X allows you to click back into that section. And the whole thing here, guys, that what I try to do is try to keep the least amount of points. And if you notice, I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna follow that path, but this one went a little bit wacky here. Alt, I can grab this guy here and allows me to clean up. So here, if you notice, we are practicing our tools, our pen tool, very, very useful tool. I really love this tool a lot. So get familiar with this tool and you're gonna see how much it's gonna improve your workflow. So there we go, Shift X. So let's say, for example, in this section, I want it to be a little bit, I don't know, maybe like a gray color. I know right now you're not gonna see much, but bear with me, it's gonna look pretty cool at the end. So again, I cannot see that. Shift X. I know I added a couple points too many, but that's okay. Shift X, that's another one. Gonna come this way. And remember, here's where I did a little bit of surgery here with just gonna bring in those tips together. Right there, Shift X. Now this guy is gonna be pretty straightforward, pretty simple. You know, I'm just following my lines here. Just the inside of that positive. Gonna make this one a little bit lighter. I still with the same color. So what do we have so far? If you take a look at this, I did the short so you guys can see a little bit of change. If I would have done everything else here, it would have taken a little bit too long to create. But if you notice here, if I swap my outline, I get this nice outline, and then you have solid, everything is nice and solid. You don't have any strokes, but you can see here it starts to look pretty nice. And let's say, for example, if you want to clean up any of the lines here, hit the letter A for the direct selection tool. And the cool thing is that you're working with anchors here, and you can always play around with these guys here. And I just realized that one has, I can just remove that, so it'll be nice and harsh in those areas. And then we're going to add some nice little tones, highlights, and shadows, be complementary with the colors that we're using here. Kind of like where this is going, so I'm going to continue the same method with the chicken, and then adding some colors, and then adding some nice highlights to kind of finish up our final design here. So let me grab the selection tool, Shift X, so I can see my outline, and I'm going to continue. If you notice, I'm still in that work layer. I have some logos here that I'm going to introduce later on into the clothing of the Rooster, and my reference images is at the bottom. So let me do this a little bit quick here so you guys don't get bored watching me do this step. You can always forward the video. If you find this video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Give me some feedback, tell me what you would like to see. I will create tutorials for you guys, and thank you for being coming to my channel and taking a look at my tutorials. Hopefully this is helpful. So I'm going to move a little bit quick here and recreate all these areas. There's a lot I need to cover, so I don't want to bore you, and I'm going to come back once I'm done with all this tracing. All right, here we go. All right, let's take a look at what I have here so far. I know it hasn't done much, but actually let me finish this little piece right here. And just for fun, let me do the claw. I know as I was gonna do just those, but let me do the claw here. There we go. And just remember, there's hundreds of methods here. Find one that works for you. I've been using this method for many years, and it works really well for me. But let's take a look at what I have. Shift X, and it looks pretty cool. If I turn off my reference, you notice that my colors start looking pretty nicely. I might even change some of the colors here. This is just for me as a visual. I might start adding some different details as I go, but for right now I think it starts to look pretty cool. Let me finish the legs here, and actually I think I forgot one of the claws there, but that's okay. Shift X, bring up my reference, grab my pen tool, and let's continue working on this. let's take a look at this. There we go. Starts to look somewhat like the chicken. So let's continue. This is the bigger job. I left the bigger stuff for later, for last, because it takes so long to recreate this. So here we go. Now, if this is helpful for you guys, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give me any type of feedback, anything that you guys might think, ideas on how others can create their artwork. And that way we can all learn together. I'm all about the learning, sharing what I have learned through the years as a designer. So like I tell my kids, sharing is caring, right? So let's help each other, let's help the community, let's continue learning together. Now you see why I left this one for later, because this one takes a little bit longer. There we go, I finished the inside of it. Now I can use a brush for this, but since I'm already here, I can always recreate them. They're not hard to do. So Shift X, and those are going to be nice and solid. Now this method I learned many years ago. I worked for a company, and we used to create products and toys and all kinds of stuff. And we ran into an issue overseas that when we were creating strokes, the stroke didn't resize accordingly to the size of the artboard, and we ran into some big issues like scaling issues. So this is the way that I learned, and I will do another tutorial going to explain a little bit more about that. So I think this is done. I think this starts to look pretty good here. I'm just going to put that dirty chicken color in it, and if you notice, it has a negative space there, and that's fine, because once we do this Shift X, that area will get filled in. So I'm going to see if I can do all this part of the kind of like the chicken. I call the chickens a rooster. So, and if you're interested as well, I can show you how we can save this for print, and you can create your own t-shirts. I can show you one of the areas I've been using for years that I create my custom t-shirts, and this could be anything, stickers, whatever might be the case, right? So here we're gonna learn some tools. I know I'm just doing the pen tool right now, and then getting this a great practice for those of you that are new using the pen tool. That's a very good technique. Be familiar using the pen tool. I want to say in everything, just not just Illustrator, but Photoshop as well. I'm gonna speed up the video in this section so you guys don't have to be bored looking at me doing all these little lines. Hopefully you get the idea on what I'm doing here, so let me speed up this video so you don't have to be looking through all this. Here we go. Let me not forget about this guys here. I like to kind of do those last. In Illustrator, the way it works is the last shape or object that you create automatically is created on the top layer. So I like leaving all these little details at the end, and that way I like to work in sections, that way I don't forget. There we go. Let me bring this up, and you're gonna see here that now Here we go. And that one was a little bit. Take a look at this. There we go. I'm gonna use a simple shape just to kind of create the eye. Just a nice little oval. Shift X. Right. And remember to swap from we're getting close to that final. Now this is the part where it takes the longest, basically recreating or tracing the character. So you can grab any of your drawings and practice this. Keep in mind trying to clean it up as much as possible before you do this process to make things easier on you. Trying to keep some nice thick lines and just play around with your design. And you will see your results. And if you continue, or if you like this technique here, make it your own, and you're gonna find different ways to recreate. I think I'm gonna recycle the eye here. I'm just gonna change what I did there is I hold my shift key and I selected all of them, Alt or Option. You click and drag, you see the double arrows. And I'm just gonna place it right here. Or if you want, let's do one at a time so we can do this and we can rotate it. I'm gonna grab this guy. Maybe make it a little bit bigger and just rotate it just a little bit. Grab this guy. Rotate it. And I think we have the other eye. Shift X. If you notice what happened here, since I created this after this object, just gotta make sure I bring this. I select this and I'm gonna go to Object Paste or Edit Paste in the back. And now we get that. So let's take a look at this. Shift X. Now the only thing I don't have is an outline around the eye, black. So I'm going to select this guy, edit, copy, edit, paste in the back. Hold my Shift and Option or Alt, and I'm going to scale it up. And then I'm going to change the color. And there we have it. And the cool thing about this is since this is its own individual shape, I can make it bigger if I need to, kind of matching that, and kind of gives me a little bit more detail. If I want to make some crazy eye of the chicken, give a different expression, I can just move that around, and it allows me to kind of play around and be a little more playful with my design. But if you take a look at this, the rooster starts taking shape. All right, so let's do this final piece here, and let's see where we go from there. right, I think I got that done. Alright guys, so this is the final kind of way of trace the rooster. I'm gonna create a different video so you guys can see how the final is gonna look. We're gonna create some nice little highlights, some nice little tones, adding the logos. We're gonna play around with some nice deformers on how we can deform the logo if I want to add it to the clothes here to kind of keep those nice little bend of the clothing. So I hope this tutorial was helpful for you guys. Please don't forget to subscribe, and please leave any comments into the comment box. Let's learn from each other, and I hope this was helpful to you guys. I see you in the next video, guys. Take care.